Welcome back to another edition of Meet the Coach. Today we've got West Florida linebackers coach Britt Myers. Britt, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me back on.
First day of practice, he just told me. First day of practice today.
Man, good to be back out there. I'll tell you that much.
I bet. So tell me how you got to you're at West Florida, like I said. Tell me how you got there, where you started, and how you got back to there today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had an interesting journey. Mine's a little different path because I didn't actually play in college. Kind of one of the rare ones. I played club baseball at Indiana, so that was my route. But I grew up in a family of coaches, so knew I wanted to coach. My dad still coaches at a D3 school in Illinois, Lake Forest College. He was a head varsity football and baseball coach for a while at Lake Forest High School. My mom was a high school gymnastics coach. So kind of always knew coaching of some sort was going to be the path. And when I graduated college, I was working in sales for NCSA athletic recruiting, actually, which helps kids get to college scholarships and do that. And then I was coaching high school ball for 2 years. Did that at Lane Tech High School under a coach who had coached me when I was in high school at Lake Forest. And then I ended up getting up. I knew I wanted to get to college level. So those 2 years at high school.
Well, how did you go from baseball player to getting into college or high school coaching?
Yeah, ultimately I'd coached baseball too, but I just love the different part of football. There's nothing like, even my high school football experience like that. There's nothing like that team, even compared to baseball and basketball. Played them all the way through, but football is different, and I love that, and I love the scheme of it. I love it's a little more of a chess game, the strategy, plus obviously the physicality of it. So that part of it, I think, is what really appealed to me to get me back into football after playing baseball in college.
Sure.
Yeah, so then took it, I was like, I got to make this leap, and started using as many connections as I had, which was really just my dad, and also sending out emails from Football Scoop, and ended up getting hooked up at Knox College through a third-hand connection with my dad, kind of, and Damon Tomeo is the head coach there, and was very appreciative of him giving me an opportunity to start and coach linebackers up there for 2 years with him. And then, again, it was kind of a random – a former player at Knox who was a quality control guy at Clemson, Andrew Warwick, actually worked with our defensive coordinator down here at West Florida. And so when this GA job opened up and Coach Dew had just moved in here as a DC, I talked to him on the phone, learned about West Florida very quickly, and 10 days later I was driving down in the van with it's 10 days later, and I'm driving to Pensacola, a school I'd never heard of, about 2 weeks ago. So it was great. So I had a good 2 years here, and then obviously I got a job back up at Knox, and then bounced back here after a job opened up down here. So I've kind of been pinballing between the two the last 4 years or so.
That's the coaching game, the coaching journey, though. How about
exactly.
that? You never heard of this school, and then 2 weeks later you're driving down.
That's it. That's the best part. It's
ready
crazy.
To move in. Right.
No doubt.
What would you say your coaching philosophy is? And obviously you probably worked – your dad, your mom have been coaches, and they probably taught you some things, and you've learned along the way, and probably taken some bits and pieces from parents and then the coaches you worked with. But what would you say your philosophy as a coach is?
Yeah, I think my coaching philosophy fits really well with our culture down here at West Florida, and it's ultimately to have a positive impact on everybody that I come in touch with. And I think coaching gives you an opportunity to do that with more people than any other industry. And I think it gives us a great opportunity. So for my coaching philosophy, it's just continuing to build meaningful relationships and create that positive impact on my guys. And I think that's where, at the college level, it's a really moldable time for guys, and being able to be a big positive impact in their life is what's important to me.
No doubt. Now, I know you're not a head coach. You've never been a coordinator, right?
I was co-DC up there, and I'm currently special teams coordinator here. But but not a DC yet fully, but yeah.
So maybe I assume you have, bits and pieces where you have the vision and you have the brand and style of play you want to want your guys to play, but maybe it's not totally been your say. What would you say, ideally, your brand of play, your style of play from a coach down to your players would be?
Yep. Yeah, I think it's twofold. I do have aspirations to become a head coach one day, and I think the first thing I think, at the end of the day, we play a game, and so I would want it to be fun. I think at the end of the day, this should be something that they should come out and enjoy, and So I think just whether, I think you could talk offensive scheme. I'm not fully an offensive guy, but I think more just fun, like that team, like philosophy should be that we're going to come out and have fun. So it's going to be positive, upbeat. A lot of different things can go into that. Obviously there's always accountability that goes into that. But then when I look DC wise, it's simple, fast, and disruptive would be the way I would look at that. I want guys that are going to play fast. But then also just ball aware. I think we're really good at it down here as the Argos here at UWF, and just a team that's always going to create takeaways. So I think that's huge, and that would be a big part of who I would be as a coach.
And I would assume, you guys have had a ton of success. In how many years has the program been around?
Yeah, we're going into the 5th season, so we've had 4 seasons of actually playing. Yep. And a national championship run in the 2nd, and then we actually won the national championship last year in 2019. So,
which is insane. I assume being ball aware and having that style of playing on defense helps a ton.
Been a big part of it. Definitely been a big part of it. I think we had the most takeaways in the country in D2 last year, and that's a massive part of our success defensively and as a team, I think.
Sure. What coach do you think you've learned the most from along the way here?
Yeah, I think initially I think my dad's influence, Britt Myers, that his influence was huge on me growing up, and then through high school, I actually got a chance to play for him in baseball. I coached with him in baseball, and I coached against him in college football when I was at Knox. So I've kind of had that influence with him, and that's been awesome. And just his positive impact that he's had on so many lives. I could see that when I was a kid growing up. Didn't understand how important it was until now as I get older. But then also our staff here at UWF, I'm learning every day still from guys. Just that I think there's so much knowledge on this staff, from head coach Pete Shinnick to our DC, Darian Doolin, and just all the other coaches on the staff. Alex Crutch, our D-line coach, I learned pass rush and block shed stuff from him every day, So I think there's a lot of good knowledge out there. And I think a lot of times guys do, and I don't want to push away from Zooms and things like that, but there's so much knowledge probably on your own staff that I think is important to make sure that guys take advantage of when they're there.
And you were telling me just before, you guys were doing your own, pre-practice. When you guys aren't playing the season, you guys are doing your own staff clinicking. Was that full staff, or just defense to defense, offense to offense? Or
no, that was full staff. So I gave a linebackers clinic to all our staff, and guys were asking questions, just kind of how we do things, and vice versa. Our quarterbacks coach did the same thing. So I thought that was an awesome way to kind of use our September where normally we'd be playing. So find a way to make that really valuable for everyone.
Yeah. And in the 4 places I was, 2 college, 2 high school, I don't ever remember talking about, or definitely not talking in front of the full staff about the opposite side of the ball. And never did we really even discuss. We might have hey, what about this concept? Or what do you think? What are you looking at here and there? But never did we sit down and really do a full clinic. Here's how we're teaching. Here's what we're looking at. I think that's super beneficial.
Oh yeah, no, I thought it was awesome, and I think we're going to keep doing them depending on time and how much we got. I think find another topic to talk about. I think that's good stuff. So
I like it a lot.
All comes down from the top. Coach Shinnick does a great job, and obviously appreciative of being here. That's for sure.
That's probably all ties into why he's been so damn successful there.
I would agree. What
advice do you give to a young Britt Myers thinking about getting into coaching or just getting into coaching?
Interesting. I think I would say something along the lines of you're doing great, but you can do more. I think that positive affirmation is really important, and just knowing hey, you are doing some good things. Even at the high school level when I was new, those relationships, I was still doing a good job at that, but you can do more. You can keep pushing and keep getting better. And I think I've tried to live by that, but I do think the earlier you find that stuff out, whether that's when you're in high school or early in coaching, I think that stuff matters to understand that early on. So, and then keep that going. When you feel like you know it all, there's still more you can do. And I don't think anyone should get caught up in feeling like they're at the top. So
I would imagine Bill Belichick and Nick Saban are consistently learning things too.
Oh yeah. You hear a ton on some of those documentaries on those guys that they're always and they're at the peak of their professions. That's what's so great about football is it's never hey, I'm the best and it's over.
No, LSU wins a national title, they come back and they're 1-2. It's you got to keep going, that's not to say they fell off. You could just beat players and turn over.
But you got to stay on your game. Otherwise, someone's always coming for it for sure. And that's how we feel too. We're we got to keep pushing this thing forward. Otherwise, people are going to get us next year. So we got to keep pushing it.
Now you've got that X on your back. You're not just this school that just started.
That's right. We played a lot of road games and we're out to a championship last year. So now, people are going to start thinking we're actually the team to beat. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, last question. I love this question too because we get cool answers. Is one coach you've never coached with that you'd love to coach with in the future? I feel like I already know this answer, but I'll let you do it.
Interesting you say that. Mine is Mike Leach. I don't know if that was who you thought, but mine.
I was thinking Dad. You're already leaning towards Dad.
Yeah,
Dad coaches.
I technically coached with him. I coached baseball with him, so I've kind of done that. I didn't know if that fits. But Mike Leach would be mine because I just think that he's hilarious, and I think he's so worldly. There's so much more to football. I mean, he's also got a similar path. He didn't play in college that way, so I think that stuff's interesting about him. But I don't know. He's always good for a tidbit. I'd be curious to sit in on staff meetings with him and just see how that goes. But
I'm sure they're interesting.
I would imagine.
Well, cool, Britt. We appreciate it.
Yeah.